Buenos días. Hoy voy a hablar primero, en este primer video voy a hablar sobre los verbos saber y conocer. En el segundo video voy a hablar de los pronombres de los objetos indirectos. Ustedes aprendieron sobre los objetos directos en Español 101. Ahora vamos a hablar de los indirectos. Okay. Primero, el verbo saber. Okay. Bueno, primero, saber y conocer significan algo similar en inglés, porque los dos oficialmente significan to know, pero se usan en contextos diferentes. So even though they both mean to know, just like ser and a star both mean to be, they are used in completely different situations, in different contexts. So saber is to know information or to know a fact. Para saber información, para saber un hecho. For example, ¿saben quién es? ¿Quién es ella? Bueno, yo sé, ella es Carolina Herrera. ¿Sabes cuándo es el primer examen? Bueno, en este momento no sé cuándo es el primer examen. No me acuerdo. So they're both asking about information or facts. In fact, we use saber a lot with interrogatives, like the quién, the cuándo. ¿Sabe Maribel dónde está la biblioteca? Okay, so we use it with dónde. We use it a lot with these question words, interrogatives, because we're asking for information or facts. Saber can also mean how to do something, and then it's saber, a form of saber, followed by the infinitive. So, sé bucear. Es verdad que yo sé bucear. Y Carolina, ella sabe diseñar ropa. ¿Qué sabes hacer tú bien? ¿Sabes hablar español? So we're telling about that we know how to do something, or if we know how to do something. So those are the two contexts in which we use saber: to know information or fact, to know how to do something, which we have the form of saber followed by an infinitive. Conocer es un poco diferente. Conocer is more like knowing in the sense of being familiar with. You can know or be familiar with a person, but you can also be familiar with their work. For example, an artist, you may be familiar with their sculptures, with their paintings. A singer, you may be familiar with their songs. An actor, you may be familiar with the shows or movies that they are in. So some examples. ¿Conoces a Oscar de la Renta? Marta conoce bien los diseños de él. So, do you know Oscar de la Renta? Are you familiar with him? Okay. Marta conoce bien los diseños de él, so she's familiar with his designs. Now, if you notice, conoces a Oscar, we have an a personal, que indica que el objeto directo se refiere a una persona. So this is something that does not translate directly into English. We put it there when we have a direct object that refers to a person or even a pet, because we tend to personalize our pets. And so in English, it's a personal a personal en español. It has to be there to show that the direct object refers to a person. Okay. The other instance of conocer is to know or be familiar with a place. For example, no conozco bien Phoenix. Okay? Realmente no es verdad porque ahora sí conozco bien Phoenix. Okay, so I don't know or I'm not familiar with Phoenix. In all reality, after driving Lyft for a few years, I'm now more familiar with Phoenix. ¿Conoces La Habana? So are you familiar with La Habana? Have you been there? Do you know a lot about it? Etc. So those are the differences between saber and conocer. Okay. Now, saber and conocer are both irregular in the yo form, saber being sé. Many students come in knowing how to say, oh, no sé. And in the positive form, the affirmative form, it would be yo sé. And conocer is irregular, it's conozco. And it's very similar to other verbs that also end in either CER or CIR, where the yo form changes to SCO. So a verb like, for example, traducir is traduzco. Conducir is conduzco. Parecer, parezco. Okay, so verbs that end in ser or sir, the yo form will be the SCO. Okay. So I'd like you to pause here and I'd like you to take a moment to complete each statement with the correct form of either saber or conocer in the present tense. Okay, hopefully you pause the video. I don't want to make the video any longer than it has to be. So to review some of these, tú al profesor de química. So we have a person, al profesor. And we have that a and l that contracted into al because of that a personal. So tú conoces al profesor de química. Los hijos de Diana son muy inteligentes. Montar a caballo y jugar a las cartas. So here we have two activities, montar a caballo y jugar a las cartas. So we know it's about the ability to do something. So saben montar a caballo y jugar a las cartas. Nicolás y yo, un restaurante colombiano muy bueno. Okay, so we're not asking about where it is, we're talking about the fact that we are familiar with. So conocemos un restaurante colombiano muy bueno. Mi amigo o mi amiga know muchas canciones de Shakira. So here we're talking, we've got canciones de Shakira, which are works of Shakira, and being familiar with or knowing works. Mi amigo, mi amiga no conoce muchas canciones de Shakira. And número 5, ¿tú cuándo es el primer examen? Remember when we have those question words like cuándo? We're looking for information, and with information we use saber. So, ¿sabes tú cuándo es el primer examen? And we don't have to change our verb in our answer because we're still referring back to the information. So, no lo sé. Okay, so that ends the video on saber and conocer. You have other exercises in VHL, to help you with saber y conocer.